It is the not the Washington Redskins, not the Washington football team. It is the Washington Commanders. So, how did the Commanders do for the first time ever in the draft?
You'll like this. All my buddies, whenever they came out with the Commanders, we all hated it like everybody else did. So we call them the commies, the Washington commies now.
I actually saw a great meme on that. Like, you go from the Redskins and now you go to commies. Like, what's worse? But whatever. Like, it's here nor there. All right, draft time.
But anyways, the Washington Commanders draft. Breaking it down from the top here, round 1, number 16, Jahan Dotson, wide receiver out of Penn State, a super, super fast big play guy who is going to be incredibly nice pairing up with Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry is one of the most underrated quarterbacks. Oh my gosh, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. Throw in Jahan Dotson, and I think this offense could really flourish with 2 explosive wide receivers. Next in round 2, Mathis Stevens, tackle out of Alabama. I mean, really, you can't go wrong getting an Alabama defender ever. Like, it's just, it works. It always works. So Mathis was a nice selection there in the second round. Round 3 was really where I got impressed with them as well, with Brian Robinson, running back out of Alabama. And this is a team that's always valued their running backs. So for them to just add to an already what I think is a stacked running back room with Gibson and also J.D. McKissick catching passes out of the backfield, throwing Brian Robinson in the mix now, you really add like a power back. You've got everything you need now. You've got Antonio Gibson, who's an elusive back and, can juke you out and run around you. You've also got J.D. McKissick, who's a receiving back, catches passes out of the backfield, can run the ball a little bit here and there. Now you've got your lower the shoulder, go through you guy and Brian Robinson out of Alabama. So I like that they added to the running back room here with that 3rd round pick. And they got a really influential guy too. This running back class was really not that great other than Brian Robinson, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. Other than that, it really wasn't that solid of a running back crew. There was really just 3, 4, maybe 5 running backs that could possibly make a difference in the league for this class. So with that being said, for them to be able to snag what I believe is the 3rd best running back in this class in the 3rd round, thought it was a really good pick by them. I really did. After that, Percy Butler, safety. Once again, just adding some of that defensive back depth, something we saw a lot really in this draft for all teams. So adding Percy Butler there to throw in behind Landon Collins, and they're already pretty stacked DB crew that's already on a stacked defense. So I liked that. 5th round was cool for me. I liked the 5th round a lot for this team. Sam Howell was a surefire day 2 guy for me. I didn't think he was going to make it to the 3rd round. I was surprised that many of the quarterbacks lasted on the board as long as they did. So with that being said, they got Sam Howell in the 5th round. So you have invested literally just a 5th round pick in a guy who could be your starter, a guy who going forward you could throw in the mix there. And if it hits and it sticks, he could be a guy. He really could. He could be a dude who comes in for you and starts for, 12, 15 years at the quarterback position. And that's huge. And like I said, they got him in the 5th round. We've seen late round guys really, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady. There's been a lot of great late round guys who have flourished in the NFL. So Sam Howell with the 5th round pick, I really was a big fan of that. And this is already a team that their quarterback position for Washington, it is so wide open right now. I mean, we really could be talking in what, 3 months whenever the NFL season starts? Was it May? Yeah, we'd be talking in 3 months from right now. Sam Howell could be the starting quarterback for this team.
Yeah.
Come August, September. I think so. I think he could be. Do I think it ends up happening? Probably not. They just traded for Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz will try to take the job. But is there really a shot? Yeah, I think there's a genuine shot here that he could beat out Heineke and he could possibly beat out Carson Wentz, or Carson Wentz beats himself by getting injured, and same with Heineke. So Sam Howell, like I said, is a guy who could really start for this team and be a good quarterback, and they got him in the 5th round. I mean, this was a guy who last year, coming into the season, was a preseason, like All-American, all this stuff was preseason All ACC, was projected a first, maybe second round pick at the latest, but mainly a first round pick for Sam Howell. I mean, I saw some mock drafts last offseason for him that he was like a top 10 pick. And here he is. They got him in the 5th round. So I mean, if they're seeing that stuff in him 2 years ago, and obviously they didn't have the year they were wanting to this year for Carolina, so a lot of people were kind of disappointed with him and felt like that he wasn't worth drafting because of that. But I mean, you go look at the tape, go watch the tape. Sam Howell is a good quarterback. Watch what he does. He does it good. So that was just their first 5th round pick. Now I'm going to talk a bunch about their second 5th round. No, I'm just kidding. Their second 5th round pick, Cole Turner, tight end out of Nevada. There were 2 pass catchers out of Nevada that I was really impressed with coming into this draft. Cole Turner being one of those, and Romeo Doubs being one of those. And no, not Romeo Doubs, just because he went to the Green Bay Packers. But Cole Turner, tight end out of Nevada, just a guy who was a huge weapon for Strong in the Wolfpack system. So I think this is a big addition for them. They've already got Logan Thomas there in town. And I believe Jordan Reed is still on roster, but he's always hurt. He's, so you need some tight end depth there. And to get Cole Turner, yet again, another, good viable option, you're getting in the 5th round. So I really thought their 5th round was great. You look at round 7 here, they got Chris Paul, the point guard. They actually took him out of the NBA. No, I'm just kidding. They got Chris Paul, the offensive guard out of Tulsa. And also Christian Holmes, cornerback out of Oklahoma State. Just some depth guys, some filler guys. Overall, I would say it was a good draft. My top pick for them is tough. I think it's between their 3rd round pick of Brian Robinson and their 5th round pick of Sam Howell. Even if Sam Howell doesn't pan out, you spent a 5th round pick on him. You invested pretty much, you've invested nearly nothing.
$2 million when it comes down to a 5th round pick.
Yeah, and if you get him in the 1st round, it's $30 million.
Yep.
So it's like you saved yourself $28 million, and you got a guy who was considered last year a 1st round guy. So with that being said, I just convinced myself with that I'm going with Sam Howell is my best pick for them. And my overall draft grade, a lot of people were not very fond of this draft and didn't give him a good grade. I think NFL.com had him like a C or something like that. I didn't agree with that. I've got him more like a B+.
Yeah, basically stealing Hal at just in this draft, just at a 5th pick, just like what you said. I think this is the quarterback that is that he doesn't have the highest ceiling, but his floor is higher than everybody else's floor in the draft. He is going to be a game manager. He is going to nickel and dime you down the field. Do not take the term game manager as a bad thing. It is a good thing because that's exactly what Washington needs. Washington needs a game manager and let their defense eat, and they're going to win a lot of games. So Hal is definitely a steal, Wyatt, and you are right. He could be a 10, 12, 13 year starter for the Washington Commanders if everything goes as planned. And I'm, like I said, as a